Hello Khan Academy and world, my name is Shreya Ramesh and today my video is going to be about political geography. Now you might be wondering, what is political geography in the first place? Political geography is not about politics as it may sound, but in fact political geography is mainly about countries, like where they are, how many people live in them, and their size of each country, things like that. So here I have a map of our world with each of the countries in our world that we have. So we have 7 continents. So we have North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, and Antarctica. So now let's begin by writing down how many countries each continent has. So let's start with North America first. So I'm going to abbreviate it for NA. And in North America, there are 23 countries. And 3 of the most notably are Canada, the United States, and Mexico. And these 3 countries are actually very geographically tied, as well as in diplomacy as well. For example, there has been a NAFTA trade, or North American Free Trade Association. And this treaty has opened up borders with the Canada, United States, and Mexico. So it's easier to trade between these countries. So let's move on to South America, or SA for short. In South America, we only have half as many countries as we had in North America. So we have 12 countries that are in South America. And again, one that is really notable is Brazil. And Brazil is famous for a lot of things, especially its Amazon rainforest, which I've circled right here in a black pen. And here is the Amazon rainforest also to be seen clearer. And the Amazon rainforest, as it may sound, is a rainforest that's really lush and green. And it's really famous for a lot of beautiful scenes and a lot of species of plants and animals. Brazil is also famous because of a city right here called Rio de Janeiro. And in Rio, the FIFA World Cup happened in 2014, and in 2016, we are going to have the Summer Olympics there. So next, we'll move on to Europe, so EU for short. And in Europe, we have 50 countries. And even though Europe may seem like a really small continent, because it is, there are a lot of countries there. And these countries have had many origins, like very old origins. So many countries have existed there for a lot of 100 years. And some notable countries are the UK, this really tiny island right here, in the map at least you can see, and Spain, France, Germany, and Russia, and Italy. And these are some of the major political powers that are there in Europe. Next, let's move on to Africa. So I'm going to abbreviate that as AF in Africa. And in Africa, with the most number of countries, it has 54 countries. Now, Africa is a very sparse dryland, especially in the north and some parts of the south because of the Kalahari Desert. But that does not always mean that a lot of African countries are always poor, like they might seem to be. South Africa, this country right here, is a very rich country actually because of its gold and petroleum exports. It exports gold to a major of the countries here, notably the United States and India. So South Africa has earned a lot of money because of that. but it doesn't always mean that every single African country is wealthy. Next, let's move on to Asia. So AS for short. And in Asia, we only have 48 countries. For such a big continent, we really don't have so many countries as Africa. And again, some of the most notable countries are India, China, and Russia, and many of the countries of the Middle East, which is right here. The Middle East is famous for a lot of its oil because of the Persian Gulf, which is located right here. And in the Persian Gulf, they have so many oil reserves that they have. And a lot of countries, such as Saudi Arabia, which is right here, and Iran, have access to these oil fields. And that's why they make a lot of money, because they export so much oil. Now, Russia, as you might see, and Turkey, which is right here, are actually split between two continents. Turkey is also split. Turkey and Russia are both split between Europe and Asia, which is just a little fun fact. Now, Australia, or AU for short. Now, Australia has one country because it's just the continent of Australia. So Australia is both a continent and a country, which is very fascinating. However, you might be wondering, what about all these small islands here? They're part of a larger group called Oceania, which is spelled O-C-E-A-N-I-A. Oceania. And this region consists of a lot of really small islands that are located in the Pacific, including New Zealand and Tonga, which is right here, and so many other small countries. Also Papua New Guinea, which is right there. Next, Antarctica, or AN for short. And Antarctica really is a dry land because it's the driest continent in the world. And because of that, there are 0 countries there. And that's not very surprising because, again, it's a very deserted, dry land. So it makes it really hard for people to live because there also is no water there. Although there are some people living there, they only live there for temporary amounts of time. They live in research stations, which are stationed all the way across Antarctica in different parts of it. So there's a research station right here, which is owned by the US, another research station right here, which is owned by Russia, and several other research stations that are dotted all along the coast and interior of Antarctica. So, let's also talk about the major countries by population and size. As it might not seem surprising, Russia definitely is the largest country there is because it's right here, and it's all of that land right here, which makes it the largest country. Then in second place comes Canada, which is right here. It owns all this mainland and all of these small islands that are dot all along the northern coast. Next comes the United States, which includes right here, Hawaii, and many other small islands, such as Puerto Rico in the Caribbean, and Howland and Wake Island, Guam, and the Mariana Islands in the Pacific Ocean. Then comes China in fourth place, then Brazil, Australia, India, Argentina, Kazakhstan, and Algeria. And then the largest countries by population. China is in first place, then India, then the US, Indonesia, Brazil, Pakistan, Nigeria, Bangladesh, Russia, and Japan. Thank you for watching.